Greetings, this is Kevin Jefferson, father of the Forex fam and followmytrades.com, here with Trade Theory for Monday, June 27, 2022. The current chart here is the Dow Jones Industrial Average on the monthly, and several weeks ago I mentioned a price point of 29,666.6 being a point of interest for me specifically, and what I've come up with is actually the market moved down to that level over the course of the month and touched it, and then it's bounced back off of that level. So what I believe as I'm looking at these charts, and prices actually come down and eclipsed and done a lot of the work that I was expecting the market to do over the last several weeks, we're in a position to where we actually at a very important inflection point in the market, or a decision point in the market. And so price is back into a level one long. You remember in a previous video, price was up here in the level one long, and I spoke about weakness in that long and that price would probably fall back down. Prices fall, it fell lower, hit the target price and all the different price points that I mentioned, and now it's back in a level one long on the daily. The difference between this one is that a lot of blocks have been checked. And so I'm really expecting in the next several days, maybe a pullback over the course of this week. So a pullback maybe down to the 31,183.8 range, potentially another pullback, even if briefly, down to the 30,793.6 range as well. But after that, I would be watching and looking for the price in the market to give me an indication that it wants to go long, because I am seriously believing that within the next 7, 10, 12 days, maybe 16 at the most, I'm expecting price to actually start moving higher. And so first thing we've got to do is watch for the price to pull back in the coming days, which I expect, and then we'll assess and get into that later. I'll probably create another video detailing where I expect the market to go in the next day or so that we can actually have that as a reference point. So moving on to the S&P 500 on the monthly, the same thing has occurred. There is a price point here that was not touched, and I'm expecting price to hit down to 32.75.89. That's a fair that's a fair point to expect price to move as far as the S&P 500. It doesn't have to, but that is a possibility if the market continues lower. So we'll watch that. On the weekly charts, as I mentioned before, there's still some uncharted territory that I feel could be addressed down in the 35, mid 3,500 area on the S&P. And then as I look at the daily chart, the same thing is true here, where we had the level one long, which was weak. Price dropped lower, and we're in a great position to where I believe price on the S&P can pull back to 38.71.95. and ultimately 38.24.39 before planning a move in another direction. So once price pulls back to a couple of those points, which it could happen, price could move straight away, continually up. I doubt that be the case. So I'm expecting another another week of maybe downward moving markets overall, week to 10 days, 12 days, and then I'd be looking out for a buy opportunity. So I'm really getting mentally prepared to buy these indices in the coming days. And the same thing for the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ has reached some significant lows in the last several months, and it still has some room actually to continue lower if we're really looking at the monthly chart. But as we break down, we want to look at the probability of that happening, and I would say price could maybe drop down to 10.491.08 at some point, and then maybe make a different decision or make a different move. But as I look at the daily chart, the same thing is here. So now as you look here, these EMAs are a little bit tighter together, so the downward push on the tech market may still be a little more significant than in the others, but maybe not. So 11.979.68 and 11.768.90 are two of my focal points for the market to pull back to in the coming days. And once it hits those parts, I'll come back and reassess, or if it hits those points, I'll come back and reassess. But I will be watching it nevertheless, and if something does change before I expect it to change, i.e. the market continues higher without pulling back and giving us a more strategic entry point to buy the indices, then I'll get on it and share that with you as well. So to keep it clean and keep it simple, I'm looking at the Dow Jones to pull back over the coming days, looking at the S&P to pull back, price to drop, and then at the NASDAQ as well. I'm looking on price to drop there as well. in expectation that price will in the next week to 10 days actually prepare us for an upward moving trend on the market. So I'm expecting the market to turn around and start to produce soon. It doesn't mean that the overall economy will necessarily increase or improve in the near term so significantly or so quickly, but the markets can actually perform and the economy cannot be doing the same thing. So that's just something to be mindful of. Your investments can be performing, but the real everyday life still could be painful for a lot of people. So just wanted to share that with you just in case you were afraid and concerned and not sure what the markets were going to do next. I'm expecting some bearish movement and momentum in the next coming, like you say, 5, 7, 12 days. And then I'm looking for a potential buy opportunity as well. So you got that here, and we'll check it out and see what happens. If you want to learn how to use this information to build cash flow for yourself, or to have us do what's called DFY or done for you trading, where we build cash flow on your behalf, visit us at fmtrades.com. Pick whichever one suits your personality and join us in this cash flow building journey. Talk to a lot of business owners, and a number of business owners are needing another way to create income outside of their actual business, so that they can not only continue to make profits and to keep their employees employed, but also that they can actually maintain some time autonomy and freedom in the midst of these times where most people are having to put more work in to get the results that they want. So visit fmtrades.com, and until next time, enjoy the day and happy trading.